There are some people that are in friendship that the friends are treating them like shit.
Ask yourself, am I really trash? If you are trash and you say
But
yes,
most of us is our low self-esteem, and there are so many things that some people have, Sha.
There are also certain times when I'm sure we've all experienced it, you just want to talk to somebody, but that's the day that all the contacts on your phone will not pick their calls.
Lima, say what you want to say, yeah.
Yes, so very, very wonderful perspectives, So that's also why this topic is interesting, because it depends on where you're looking at it from in terms of closure. So I feel closure is in phases. For example, now, one can achieve closure when trying to move from one stage in a relationship to the other. It must not always be at the termination of any stage.
Yeah.
For example, when it's time for someone to get married, there is that point of closure that comes, that the person realizes that all these actions that we've been doing so far in our relationship, based on the unknowns that I have observed, and the knowns that are within me, and I have been able to align, then we can move to the next stage. So it has closed that first stage.
Okay, that closed that chapter of your life.
Exactly. So I also do not want to look at closure in terms of relationships coming to end only. Certain times, certain closure is needed to move to the next step
in life.
Certain chapters may need to be closed. Certain projects may need to be closed out for you to begin the next phase, even with the same person or without the same person. But I think what we've all tried to also explain is that something important in closure is about understanding and acceptance of what is evident.
Yes.
So I also just want to make sure that we also make sure that there is no bias, because it's very easy to be biased. There's a way you can interact with someone and then you don't know, maybe you feel this girl is ghosting me or she left me. Meanwhile, her phone has been stolen.
Yes.
Or, something happens, or, different things. And I feel, okay, that's having that understanding of, okay, this person did not respond to me because this is what happened. Yes, it's an understanding, and you can then accept whatever it after making your own deductions.
Of course.
It's also possible she ghosted you, or she was having fun with her
friends,
and ignored you and told you, or she was eating and she ignores your messages.
Yeah.
But then you also need evidence for you to be able to close out that thing and know the next step to take.
Yeah, but that's what some people do. Some people see that evidence, but they still want an explanation. So they see the evidence, everything is written on the wall for them, but they still want an explanation. Do you understand? Because they can't be bothered to just read the room or understand it. They still want an explanation from the person.
So I think for that one, I would say, because every human is responsible and should be accountable for both their actions and their words. So I feel that people with those perspectives need that verbal confirmation to know. Now, the issue with that is that there are some people that are chronic liars. There are some people that are chronic manipulators, and gaslighters. And with those people, no matter what, also because of certain traumas that they're exposed to, they will never tell you the truth. They don't have the confidence or maybe even the psychological bandwidth to be able to tell you directly. And so that is where there are constraints and then there are challenges with achieving closure. But then again, that's why I also said it's about having that understanding, having that depth of knowledge to understand, okay, based on this person's characteristics, this person's understanding, this is what this person is trying to communicate across. So this cycle is verified once there is communication. Once communication has been established, whether it's by sign language, by action, by verbal. But certain times people react to verbal better, and that verbal must be established for the communication to be complete. And so that's why I also feel there's a lot of...
so this is actually a very wide net, and different scenarios actually have different...
Quick question to you, Lima. let's say you've been dating someone for a while, say like 2 or 3 years, and then she has emotionally checked out in a relationship, because that's an excuse people use nowadays. I emotionally checked out, and one day I left. I didn't leave because of blah, blah, blah. You get me? And one day she left and she told you, this is the end. In that scenario, do you seek foreclosure or do you move ahead with your life?
Thank you very much for that. And that's where the communication lies in. So you have a discussion. She has said, okay, fine. She has checked out. Okay, what were the reasons? Because I also believe in continuous improvement. Everything or every action and inaction and every relationship is there for a reason, to make you better for the next action or the next stage or phase in life. And so she checks out, what is it? There are some that are not up to you. There are some that it wasn't your actions. You may be the best human being in the world, but then different things did not align and she had to check out. While you may also be the worst human being in the world and she checked out to protect her own sanity. And that's where the communication has to be, because I feel for people in a relationship, communication and understanding is key, because when you also understand, okay, these are my flaws, these are what made this person check out. Okay, how can I improve myself? And if you can improve and it's salvageable, then you work on it.
Fine, yeah.
If it can't work out, that is your closure, and you make sure you are better or in the next phase. Or if you also find out that, nah, this person was going to kill me, or, you know, so I don't know if we can say that online, but,
no, but
this person was going to mess up my life.
Basically.
This person was going to mess up my life in future, and, you know, I need to run.
Yeah.
Then it's also a different thing. So, you know, yes, it's better the person checked out so that you can also have your life. So that's how I see it.
That's a very good, very nice insight. That's a very nice insight. But like I was saying, this is a very wide net, and this explanation may not apply to everyone. So, for example, friendship. I don't know if you noticed that if people you were friends with, maybe through secondary school, uni, to work, things change. So, for example, I don't know how do you make friends, but I noticed that friendship actually lasts based on similar interests and similar goals. Now, let us say two friends have been friends for, let's say, 10 years, and one of them withdraw. How do you think the other friend should get closure? Two of you have been speaking together for years. For some reason, the other person just withdrew from the relationship. This is not even a relationship, like, this is just a friendship. How do you get closure from that?
I think it depends on the kind of friendship two of you had. I've been friends with people, like immediately we finished university, the friendship just fizzled out, and I did not feel worse for wear.
Okay, but so it was not that deep.
That even after university, it continued and it blossomed.
Yeah.
You know, so everything happens for a reason. Is what I'm saying. You know, it's not every time you should seek foreclosure. Sometimes life happens.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm not talking to you today, it's not because I hate you. It's because life has happened. Like he said, I lost my phone. Could be someone else has taken me into a container and they have moved me to another country. You know? So different things can happen. The best thing you can do is to just assume positive intent all the time and just move ahead. So
positive intent.
She decides to,
and always prioritize yourself too.
That is one of the, in fact, that's the answer to it. First of all, prioritize yourself. You should put yourself in such a place that even if the worst happens, you should be able to bounce back. Because the moment you start feeling like you're a victim of circumstance, you will not be able to heal. And those trauma, you will start aligning the universe to that. So when you keep saying, oh, why does this always happen to me? More things will happen to you.
Yeah.
So you need to be grateful. People come, people go.
Yeah.
Barack remain the same.
Yes.
So if you date someone for 2 years, 3 years, and she decides to leave, be happy for her.
Yes.
Now, the things that, according to Lima, what he said, the things that made her leave,
yes,
you might hear it from a couple of friends. You might say, oh, you were a scattered person. Oh,
you didn't hear it directly, but you heard it from a friend outside.
You will definitely hear, because when you're friends with somebody for a couple of years, your friends will become mutual. I play Call of Duty. We have mutual friends with some of the people I play with now. We know ourselves whenever we come online. So when you're dating somebody, when you're friends with somebody, there's a crew. You get me?
Yeah.
So now those things that they say, be better at those things. If she says your English was bad, go to Duolingo and learn English. If she says you not know how,
you say my this thing is my attention is money now. How did they tell they talk about that here? My love language is money.
If she said you were broke, go and hustle. But your problem will not be when you now become that thing and you now want that person back. No. The person decided to leave. Then if you now find out that the reason the person decided to leave was because the person thought the grass was green on the other side, you should eat that grass.
Yes.
Is it the money that this is the money now? That point I used to plant grass in my front. I will burn the grass.
That's nice.
That makes them leave.
Yeah.
And you decide to work on yourself because of that and become a better person. And then they see that you are better and they want to come back. Holy Ghost fire. Yes. That's my advice. What's your advice, Lima?
Honestly, like beautiful perspectives. You get, and I think I'm aligned because everything boils down to communication. So now let me approach it from another very interesting perspective. So as of this year, I think most people have nothing less than 500 contacts on their phones, gotten across the years at different times.
Some of them are muted though.
Yes. So now the interesting thing is, with all those contacts on your phone, and you think of, okay, at least 50, let's say 40%, you have a particular level of relationship, cordial relationship with them. So let's say that's 250 contacts.
Or 200.
Yes.
200,
okay. Or let's say 200.
Yes.
So now, out of that, let's say out of that percentage now, let's say you're close to, let's say another 50%, 100.
Yeah.
How many hours are in a day? And when you take in the time that you have for work to share, and how many people can you call or do you
reach out to? Yeah.
Does it mean you do not care or love those people?
No.
So that's also how sometimes I tend to look at it, that there are certain friendships that, yes, they may drift apart because of life happenings, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
But then it does not mean that when you are in need, or maybe when the time comes or you see the people.
Yeah.
I traveled halfway across the globe just to see some people, to interact with people I hadn't seen in many years.
Yeah.
I haven't called some of these people in fact, since we last saw, in about 8 years, 10, but I took the step to come over just to say hello.
Yeah.
Now, if they decide to not be available, or maybe they've moved on, that's not on me.
That's not
on me.
Yeah.
The important thing is, where I understand life happens.
Yeah.
And then when there is the opportunity to connect,
yes,
I take advantage of that.
It. Yeah.
If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, they also have life. Different people, different things happen. So every day, people face earthquakes every day. Yeah. Am I gonna be talking about fun and games when someone is suffering an earthquake?
Yes.
Some people, yes, there were days too when I didn't have any food to eat. I didn't even want to receive calls that time. So is that why we say, it was just question different things. So there are also certain times when I'm sure we've all experienced it, you just want to talk to somebody. But that's the day that all the contacts on your phone will not pick their calls. For some weird reason, will I get angry with them? No, because life, there are also times.
They're also passing through their own life.
Exactly. Or I may even be in the bathroom and somebody needs something urgently, but then I'm not there to pick up my phone. So it's very interesting. But I feel in that case, if you can show up, and move on with whatever, you are faced with, whatever card you are dealt with, you move on, you do your best, and then you move. As you said, positive mindset. As you said, communication.
Yeah.
Whatever happens.
And like I said, always prioritize yourself. That's the main thing.
Yes.
Once you have self-respect and you prioritize yourself, most of the stuff there's no problem with that. That's the truth. You get. Because as we are saying on this, we are only focusing on the positive side, but on the average, not everything is positive. Do you get? Most people are not that. They will just mute you.
If they need you,
but you get what I mean. You get. We are not talking it from a positive point of view, but
stay in your room and cry.
Yeah. So that's why the self-respect comes in. Yeah. Yeah.
It is over. Stay in your room. Grieve that process.
Yes.
Then remember the pain of that process. Then ask yourself, do I want to put myself back in this kind of scenario? If your answer is yes, fine. But if your answer is no, after you have grieved,
because there's some people that are in friendship that the friends are treating them like shit. I'm like, is that friendship so important? You don't have to respect that. Like, I'm like they will treat them like shit. You understand what I mean? I'm like, wow. I'm like, wow. And it seems they cannot live without that friendship.
If somebody treats you like trash,
yes.
Ask yourself, am I really trash? If you are trash and you say
but
yes.
But most of us is our low self-esteem, and there are so many things that some people have, Sha. Yes.
So I have something very interesting to say.
You always have interesting things.
Yes.
I think we'll call it back.
Lima.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to take us out of, the, should I say,
the box we are in.
Let's think of something. So we're talking about self-esteem. We're talking about psychology.
Yes.
But we have to also notice that a lot of these things are nurtured from the environment which every one of us grew up in. We like to say everyone has their own flavor of trauma.
Yes.
And that's because the decision was made when two people decided to come together. Come together and create something with their own traumas.
Yes.
And they project that into their children.
Yes.
And those children grow up manifesting the effects of that union that happened out of their control.
Yes.
Now, you see the whole self-esteem and all those ones. Psychologically, with a lot of studies have been done that states the fact that where the children or where people grow up in has a large effect. I can't remember the percentage exactly. I don't want to quote wrong figures.
There are some papers on that already.
And so imagine being born into a home where you've always been told a certain thing that you have to earn your place, or if you don't do this, you're not going to be liked and all that. It sticks in the child, and then the child grows up. But each and every day, we are contending with our inner child.
Yes.
If you even check some of the things that you like today, they are an act of rebellion, or they are trying to satisfy those needs that you were deprived of as a child that are manifesting now.
Yes.
And so sometimes there's the desire for love. There's the desire for
the story. I have to say my story.
Yeah. No, let you finish. Say your story.
So people have the desire for love and the type of love that they understand. Like some people grow up in maybe where the dad was maybe always an alcoholic, and so they understand that type of love, and as a young child, that is what they know.
Because that's what they were around.
Exactly. Yeah. And so you see it's also manifesting in their relationships, in how they interact with people. And sometimes people say, oh, why am I like this? But it takes so much effort to be able to change that. So much deliberate effort, which most of the time, most people do not have access to. Most people do not even have the discipline to, because there's so much going around. You have to work, you have to fend for yourself, you have to survive. And so how much time do you have to be going on a regimented therapy or a cognitive behavioral change therapy and all that? And so we proliferate those traumas.
Yeah.
And then more people get married and we keep proliferating. So it's an interesting perspective about that stuff. So why advice is that awareness of understand your trauma and try as much as possible to make it not appear in your relationships and your friendships. I said try as much as possible because
there's a high chance it will pass through.
Story. So I knew this friend of mine, and she was in the house one day, and her mom was pissed off with the dad.
Okay.
Like serious piss, and then she inherited the beef. So the dad comes back from work and he talks to the mom. She just moves ahead. She doesn't even cook, she just goes. She was angry. So my friend, inherited that beef. And then when the dad comes to talk to her, she gives the face too, So it was like that for like the whole week. And then the weekend, the mom was making chicken in the kitchen. And the dad came in, and it's like, my wife, why are you being this thing? Let me take chicken. She's like, don't touch the chicken. And he just slapped her on her bunda. He just gave her a wing tap, saying, let me take this chicken. She said, sorry. She was blushing. So this my friend was looking at her mom like, Mom, why are you smiling at dad? Like he's been mean, and the mom was blushing and he slapped her and say, won't give me. And she said, okay, take one chicken, put stew on top,
That reminds me.
My story.
Yeah.
And then later in the evening, mom and dad were chummy. And now my friend is angry because she's like, we are supposed to be angry at this man together. Yeah. Why are you lovey-dovey with him?
Yes.
The dad has been trying to talk to her all weekend, but she was been giving the hard shoulder. Then later in the evening, she tried to talk to the dad. Dad was like, oh, you're talking to me. I thought we were beefing. Why were you beefing me in the first place? And she was like, I don't even know.
That reminds me, it's not good to allow your children to be involved in marital affairs. So as adults, you are one with your couple. If you and your wife or you and your husband are quarreling, your children shouldn't be aware of it. Talk less for them to be involved with the beef. So I think as adults, we should learn some basic things. For example, there are some families that their husband and wife quarrel, but their children don't know what they quarrel. Except it's something very, very serious. So I think it's part of our duties as parents and guardians to understand that the things that our children are exposed to shape them, like you've previously mentioned, and we should make sure that we are active in their development in a positive way, not really a negative way. Because that your friend now that is having beef with the father, you get, she will transmit that to her daughter too, because she's learned that from the mom. So, but if she learns that, oh, my dad and my mom, when they try and communicate it, they communicate it as a team on their own private space, and they pass that across to the child, that's exactly what the child will pass across to the next child. Like you mentioned, trauma passing through trauma, you get the scope. So, like I said, we have a lot of work to do as human beings, to be honest. A lot of work. And it's easier said than done, to be honest. Very easier said than done. Yeah. So I think we've really trashed this topic. What do you guys think?
Trash it. If you don't learn anything for this topic,
we've trashed it. We've trashed it. Okay, guys, tell us what you think, and make sure you say hello to our new guest, Lima. He's really trashed this topic for us. Cheers. Peace.